Hey guys, today we are here on Space Marine 2's public test server for patch 8.0 to talk about the current state of the game and Horde mode. Now, I have put about 100 hours across all the classes into the Horde mode in this game, and I have some thoughts on the current state of this thing and also the public test server. We are less than a week out from the official release of Siege mode on the 26th of June, and currently, I'll be honest, I feel like it is a little underbaked. There's only one map for it. What is there for PvE content is cool. We did get some new things like some appearance cosmetic changes for our weapons like bronze knives and stuff like this, and this stuff does change like the way your adrenaline charges look, so that's kind of cool. But overall, cosmetic changes aren't that great for a horde mode in a game like these. I don't know if these are really going to bring people back. They are lore accurate, so if you are a 40k head, you will enjoy them a lot, but overall I just feel like it's a little underbaked currently. We'll see what the actual reception is going to be of the Horde mode when that comes out. Personally, I think it's going to be very difficult for a lot of players. You're going to see a lot of complaints, especially about triple Hellbrutes. We'll see what the balance changes are on the official release, but as for the public test server here, we have had zero updates to anything in this public test server, and really, I just think that's kind of stupid, because the public test server has been up for like a month, and like I said before, we're almost like we're less than a week out from the official release, and having zero updates to a test server that's been out for like a month is kind of insane to me. We had a single update for the exfiltration test server they did for like the Trigon boss fight, and even that was pretty bare bones, and I just don't really know what Saber is cooking here, to be honest. I have no idea why their dev time takes so long to just make like balance changes. There must be like a tremendous amount of overhead, because that's the only explanation I can think of. But as far as my biggest problem with Siege mode goes currently, it's that your perk loadouts or your weapon loadouts have no changes to your perk tree. Now, previously when the game first came out, the development team said they did not make it a priority to have perk loadouts change with weapon loadouts. Frankly, I think this is bullshit, especially for a mode like Siege mode, where Siege mode, every 5 waves, you swap the faction you were fighting. So say you start with Tyranids, you get to wave 5, you beat it, wave 6 is going to be Chaos, and every 5 waves, you get access to a new loadout station to swap your loadouts. Well, what is really the point of that if you can't change your perk tree? Because some perks, like Lethal Efficiency, literally only work with one gun in this game, so you're kind of forced and railroaded into playing this build the entire time. And on top of that, there are builds like Assault Class, and I'll talk about Assault Class again someday, because this class is just the worst class for Siege mode, fundamentally, because they don't know how the fuck to balance their game, if I'm being frank. And really, the Power Fist is just the best weapon for him on Siege mode, and he struggles more on Chaos, and like you could really have a lot of build diversity with Assault versus Tyranids, but when it comes to Chaos, he is so much more limited. You have to pick some very particular things unless you're playing with a very good group, and especially with randoms, and especially for the average player, they're going to struggle tremendously to succeed with Assault class in like the hard mode Siege mode, which is fine, but they're struggling for the wrong reasons, and it's because the loadout system in this game is underbaked, in my opinion, and really it should swap over your perk loadouts, because not having a loadout change, like let's say for Tactical, the reason Tactical's best build right now is Stalker Bolt Rifle and Bolt Carbine is because he can build the same for both of them and function just as well, and a class like Assault simply can't do that with something like the Thunder Hammer versus the Power Fist, where building for overcharge or armor reinforcement might be better depending on the faction you're fighting. So really, like, number one update I'd want them to make is that perk loadouts should function with your actual loadouts. Not doing this, I think there's no excuse, personally, and really, it's just a terrible game design decision. As far as the actual balance for Siege mode goes, I think it's pretty good. I think that the map, like there's only one map for this, and that's kind of underbaked, but as far as the spawns go, they feel like a horde mode. I know they had a timer, they said they're going to change that. We'll see what they actually do to fix it in the official release. Hopefully they don't nerf the spawns, because the spawns are really fun. Like, it is fun to go as a team and fight this stuff off, because there are more than enough enemies for everybody to fight now. But my problem with Space Marine 2 currently is that the content feels underbaked. It feels like we have a skeleton crew operating this game. And while Fat Shark over at Darktide and Vermintide, they have slow releases as well, when they do make a big update, it's a huge update, and that game simply has more to balance. On Space Marine 2 and with Saber Interactive, it feels like we are being drip-fed content while they work on Space Marine 3, and that's really what they're focused on, and they're just trying to keep us held over for that game, because I'm assuming they're probably going to release that game around the time of, like, the Henry Cavill TV show, and maybe the time of, like, Total War Warhammer 40k. And while I am looking forward to all of those, it does kind of suck that it feels like this game has been left behind a little bit. They are going to be releasing a new class for this game. This game will be getting a new roadmap after all of this is said and done, but Siege Mode was supposed to be the big update, and really this thing needs to bang. And as far as the servers go for this game, well, we'll see on release, but on the patch 7 launch, the servers were horrific, and Saber has a track record of having terrible server launches, and you cannot have Siege Mode launch with terrible servers. It's just unacceptable. And, like, really, they've kind of just been fucking with us as far as, like, drip-fed content goes. I know, like, maybe it sounds a little frustrated. I still love this game. I have 2,000 hours in this game. How could I not? You know, I don't just play it because I make content for it. I also just enjoy to play as a Space Marine. But I do feel like some of the cosmetic choices here are just very limited. Some of that could be down to Games Workshop. But as far as the Siege Mode update goes, I just feel like having a public test server out for 4 weeks takes away from the actual fun, or I should say like 3 weeks, takes away from the novelty of a new update, at least for me, and it kind of spoils it for a lot of console gamers. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. I will still be streaming and playing a ton of the Siege Mode when it comes out, because I do want to unlock all the cosmetics and make some more accurate outfits. But, you know, Darktide is about to release its Arbites class, and the Arbites class is frankly has more depth to it than anything we've gotten in Space Marine 2 so far. So maybe I'll pop over to that for a bit. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think about the Siege Mode update or the current state of the PTS server. They might make balance changes when it, like, officially launches, but the way patch 7 launched after the public test server dropped, or I should say after they closed the public test server, is they made pretty much 0 changes from the final state of the test server to the launch of the official patch. Hopefully they don't do that again, but as of right now, I think Siege Mode is not a terrible update. It just seems like it's going to be a bit of a mediocre one, but hey, I think the Siege Mode is still pretty good. That's my opinion. Maybe that's a hot take. Who knows? Let me know about yours in the comments below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. And to all my channel members, thank you for your support. You've been helping me out tremendously recently, and I really appreciate it. Peace.